That's good. That was good for you. How did you cast it then? Because you got like some really good people, and you were surprised yourself, you said.
Yeah, I was surprised. I made friends with some of the actors that are in the film. The lead is Thomas Guiry, who was recently on The Black Donnellys and in Mystic River.
Oh, yeah.
And Dean Winters and David Zayas, who are both on Oz. And Will Janowitz and Max Casella, who were on The Sopranos. So at the time, you know, these guys were all on TV shows, and I just made friends with one of them, and then that one gave the script to the other one, and that one gave the script to the next one.
So that's how you did it?
Yeah, before I knew it, I had the whole cast.
I don't want to pass over this because I think your premiere in New York was so great. And one of the things that you do say in Bristol Boys is that you don't glorify drugs, right?
Right.
It's not like about how great it is to be.
No, it's unlike a lot of other films. It doesn't glorify the drug dealing business. It shows how the main character gets caught up in that world because it's exciting and because it could get him the women and the cars and stuff, but it's also very realistic in its portrayal. This guy's not making $1 million overnight like they are in a lot of drug dealing movies.
So,
you know?
so your premiere had all of these guys, and what'd you do? Just open it to anybody? How'd you do your premiere?
Well, we premiered.
It's like for the people, right?
Yeah. Well, we premiered the film in Bristol, and it was that we had a couple of oversold screenings. Of course, in Bristol, Connecticut, if there's a movie that comes out called Bristol Boys, and it has a cast from Oz and The Sopranos, every kid and their brother is going to want to see the movie.
I'll show just a couple of these. But I think, what'd you say? You just had like beer and stuff like that? It was just like
yeah, I mean, you know, there's no Hollywood premiere with a red carpet for a film like this.
That's what I meant.
You know, we got our DVD release and had a couple theatrical screenings.
And who's this?
That's David Zayas, who's currently on Dexter on Showtime. That's David facing us. Here he is again. That's Thomas Guiry in the middle from Mystic River and on The Black Donnellys. And again, that's David Zayas. Plays a detective in the film. And Will Janowitz from The Sopranos. He plays the main character's friend who's like kind of gets suckered into everything.
We showed that one, didn't we?
That's also Thomas Guiry again, who's, if anyone's seen Mystic River, he's great in Mystic River.
That was Julia Roberts was on that?
This is Max Casella, and he was on Doogie Howser. Most people remember him from Doogie Howser and The Sopranos.
So we got your 3 films. What's the next one?
The next one is called Lord of Lies, and it's based on a novel that some of my friends wrote. It's about the investigation of a murder in a high school.
But not in Bristol.
Not in Bristol, no. The first movie that's not based on my, you know, sort of upbringing and hometown.
Do you think you've covered it all in Bristol?
Unless I want to make a movie about ESPN, yeah, I think I've pretty much checked it all off. I've got the coke dealer and the marijuana dealer, the heroin dealer. I haven't done that one yet.
Maybe that'll be
pencil that in for 2010.
Okay, thanks, Brandon.
Thanks, Joan.
Thank you, and we'll be right back with Susan Egan. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. I'm here with singer-performer Susan Egan, who was born and raised in Southern California and attended the Orange County High School of the Arts, UCLA, and also UCLA, where she received the Carol Burnett Award in Musical Theater. To prove the faculty at UCLA was right, Susan went on to Broadway and starred in Thoroughly Modern Millie, Beauty and the Beast, and Cabaret. She's guest starred on lots of TV shows, Movies of the Week, and many specials for ABC, CBS, and Disney. Susan, you're a hometown gal. How did you find Broadway?
Isn't that crazy? People
Yes.
always ask because they don't think of Southern California as really a theater-oriented place, but you know, Joan, there are more theaters in Southern California per capita than any other place in the United States.
Rah, rah.
Yes.
I'm for you. I love that.
And so I was brought up going to the theater, very lucky, but then I took advantage of all the local theaters, the Civic Light Operas in Downey and La Mirada and Long Beach and community theaters, and then of course I was lucky enough to go to the Orange County High School of the Arts.
Did you have to
Audition to get-
audition? Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
Audition for that?
Well, it was much easier to get in the School of the Arts in the 80s than it is now. Now, kids come from 90 cities, across
they
the
do? From
Southland.
all over?
And thousands of kids audition every year. In fact, I went back a couple years ago and became the artistic director for a year, and I was astounded with the talent, and I was so grateful that they weren't there when I was there. I don't know that I ever would have made it. They're so good.
I was going to ask you, because you took 2 years out of your career to
That's
go
right.
back. And what made you do that?
I was doing a sitcom for 2 years, and this is in 2001 after September 11th, and when the sitcom went away, I sort of was figuring out what I wanted to do, and I think I just wanted to get back to my roots a little bit.
And stay here.
Yeah, and that teacher that made that big difference in my life was a gentleman named Ralph Opasek, and he's the head of the School of the Arts. And he took me out to lunch one day to pick my brain because they needed to make some changes at the school. And we just hit it off so much that I decided to go in for a year, restructure the departments, and rewrite the curriculum for the theater department in particular, bring in some new faculty.
But that was great, because you'd already been on Broadway and you'd been doing things, so you were a real asset then to the school.
Well, thank you so much.
But
Yes.
isn't that right?
Well, and part of the idea was to finally bridge the gap between the school and the industry. And so I was really lucky. I got to bring in a lot of my my colleagues, Broadway actors. I even got to bring in Jerry Herman to do master classes
You mean to
at
do
the school.
class? Oh, that was great.
Yeah, so it's great. And
to
that's
teach?
continued.
And to teach
Exactly.
classes, or to teach a semester, or what?
He came in for a master class
He
and did a
did.
concert.
But other theater people?
Yes, came into Terry Ralston, who's a Broadway star. She came in and became, she directed 2 plays there, and she was a teacher 3 times a week there for music theater classes. Some incredible people have gone in.
When you were at the Orange County School of the Arts, did you get all the training you needed, or were you taking acting classes and dancing besides?
It's interesting because I'm a big fan of UCLA as well. However,
Oh, yeah, you went to UCLA.
However, I feel, and especially now with the kids graduating from the school now, I feel like really you should enter college as a junior or a senior in the musical theater classes because you're getting all the training at OSHA, at the School of the Arts. And in fact, when I went to UCLA, I was a theater major only for my first year, and then I switched to anthropology.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I did
Why?
plays
Because
at
you
UCLA.
knew, so you thought you knew it all? Or
Well,
what?
no, not that I knew it all, but I felt like the first 2 years of classes were a little bit of a repeat, and so I continued training, but I took advantage of being in Los Angeles. I took acting with Milton Casellas, and I took dance here in Los Angeles, and I had a voice teacher here in Los Angeles,
I
and
see.
then I took other kinds of classes in
So
college.
what, you were at UCLA and you were still doing, because that
Yeah.
is very important. That obviously must have put you to the top so that you could go to Broadway. Well, you need
I never thought of that then, but I guess it helped.
Yeah, I mean, you need that extra little push.
I think also the more different kinds of things you do, the more people you meet. And
Yeah,
like any
exactly.
industry, it's the people that you get to know. So in fact,
That's
having
true.
mentioned Terry Ralston, she was in 2 original Sondheim pieces on Broadway in the original cast of Company, the original cast of Little Night Music. When I was a sophomore in college, she directed me in No No Nanette at La Mirada Light Opera. And her agent saw the show and he signed me, and while I was in your green room, I just had a conversation with him. He's still my agent today.
Is that right?
And so you never
And
know
so you meet those
who you're going to
people.
meet and how
Yeah.
they're going to change your life.
That's exactly right. Well, how did it feel being the longest Sally Bowles on Broadway?
Well, it's my favorite show I've ever done, next to, I'm sure, how I will feel about Chess.
Chess, right.
But it was incredible. Sam Mendes is a knockout director. In fact, because of Cabaret, Steven Spielberg gave him a movie to direct. Sam had never directed a film before. He
is
directed
that why he
American
got
Beauty
it? Oh, yeah.
because of the production of Cabaret, and he won the Oscar for Best Director because of it. I mean, he's that good.
And you had him.
And I had him.
That was
not in the
good.
biblical sense, Joan, but I had him and his intellect and talent in the directorial sense, and he made me a better actor than any acting class I've ever had.
It's kind of hard for me to say, how did you keep Sally alive day after day, seeing you, because you're so full of energy. I'm sure that it was easy.
I think it's because I played so many good girls with Belle, with Nanette, with Millie, with all these good, sweet, wholesome girls. So to get to play Sally Bowles, who's a heroin addict, who's an alcoholic, I just think I had a blast going to town. I did the show almost 2 years.
I know, it's amazing.
I loved it. I loved it.
Did you sing it in your sleep?
Oh my gosh, yes. I still do. In fact, I had a concert.